All right, so today I want to talk about like the symbolism behind Washington D.C. and why like the whole state is a representation of like capitalism, colonization, and fascism, and why they picked that area in Pacific to why like they make that like the main influx of like a manifesting destiny of like the great American dream and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like why like they picked that area in Pacific and like the whole symbolism and um yeah yeah, just really like just breaking the shit down for the most part. So we already know that Washington D.C. is stationary called the what's the shit called? And I got notes right here. So like the Potomac River, right? It was called like well in English it's called a Potomac River and stuff like that, and it's based off the Algonquin Native American village and stuff like that, and what they called it based upon like their interpretation and like how they looked at it, and they had different sections from what they called a river and stuff like that. And when they first came over here and like colonized like the 13 colonies and well like made like the 13 colonies and stuff like that, um, this is like they would like cut it off with like that long like because it's like a big ass river and shit like that. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I take that back. It was on the like Washington D.C. was on the Potomac River, but when they started like doing the cutoff for the 13 colonies, it was the Mississippi River. That's what it was before they started moving westward and things of that nature, right? And like, by like 1608, Captain John Smith explored the river, now known as that, and that's when they given that name. It was based upon the Algonquin Native Americans, and they would call it like the Potawatomi and stuff like that, like the way how we would like interpret that shit in English, right? And then boom, that's when like the Pilgrims start coming in on the Mayflower boat, and they start establishing like the what that shit called like the Plymouth colony and stuff like that, right? And when they made the Plymouth colony, that's basically like what we consider like Massachusetts now. And then John Smith, who also helped take over fucking like Virginia and shit like that, he named the territory New Plymouth. And then the Pilgrims basically like took that over, and Pilgrims are like the Protestants of like Christianity and stuff like that. Like what we know is like Protestants today and stuff like that, and that whole branch and section from them like trying to branch off from England's perspective, or the European, just European in general perspective on Christianity and stuff like that. That's when the Pilgrims started taking over and doing their own shit and stuff like that, and then it started descending down when it comes to the Jews and stuff like that. But that's a whole different video and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then George Washington called it the nation's river. Now, when it comes to George Washington and stuff like that, George Washington is basically like a symbol of also the whole Columbia thing. It's like the Columbia thing because you know Washington D.C. has the District of Columbia and stuff like that. It's just like Columbia is just a female personification, similar to like the Statue of Liberty that you see in New York and stuff like that, of like a manifesting destiny. It was just like this is like the main agenda that we're trying to create while we're colonizing these lands, and they're calling it George Washington and stuff like that. Not it being a real person. It's the Native Americans fighting the generals and shit like that. So not this nigga being like a real person and they have a real interaction. No, they have interaction with the generals and stuff like that. That's just the concept overall, what they was calling it. It was calling it George Washington. And like that whole thing is the side itself. That's why they calling it the nation's river, and this whole fascist nationalism. Oh, we gonna colonize, take this bitch over, and just the first, like, you know what I'm saying? One of the first rivers we gonna take over and stuff like that. And then the District of Columbia is a symbolism of like Lady Columbia and Christopher Columbus. Again, a manifest destiny and stuff like that, like an agenda concept of what they're calling things when they want to take shit over and things of that nature, right? So just look at it like it's like them talking about like the queen and stuff like that. This is like Europeans, like the Europeans' grandmother and stuff like that. When they talk about Lady Columbia and stuff like that, like that's why they started using terms like the New World and stuff like that, expanding westward based upon the Christopher Columbus concept. Oh, we're gonna come on boats, Atlantic slave trade, all that type shit. Bring our slaves. We're gonna colonize. We're gonna separate from Great Britain and England and stuff like that, and try to claim our quote unquote independence and try to take over this land. Even though we are no the Native Americans here, but we like the resources, their culture, and all the like spirituality, occult mysticism and stuff like that. Like they practices like their own, like their government. All they did was just cosplay what was already there. They already had their own system. They already had their own thing and shit like that. So this was just like a manifest destiny, one agenda concept, and these are the terms that we'll call it and stuff like that, like Lady Columbia or fucking Christopher Columbus. And it's like Europeans, colonialism's like grandma, and like we serve the queen and stuff like that. That's why that whole God save the queen type of concept and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like them cosplaying as God. Like, we're gonna be that in the physical. We don't really believe it, but we're gonna act like that in the physical and shit like that. And it go back into my previous videos about how like, that's them thinking like that. Like that's them doing that. That's them feeling like that. That's the all seeing eye thing. We're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like oversee everything. We the great ones. We gonna be all that in the physical, but spiritually you ain't shit. Cause the only thing you caring about and filling your spirit up with is like not even knowing yourself. It was just, how I was on earth. So I think because I'm luxurious and I took over niggas' lands on earth, that means I'm gonna go to some type of sanctuary, safe haven and all that type of shit. Like what? Like nah. Like some type of sanctuary or some shit. Like nah. So like this ain't like the flag, but like it's based off the flag and things of that nature because it's based off of Lawrence Washington's, aka George Washington's third great grandfather, aka going back into the whole manifest and destiny, nationalist colonial agenda of them trying to take over Native American lands and stuff like that. The Americas in general, North and South America. Right. And like this was like they coat of arms. So it's like a military practice and stuff like that. Like a global police type of practice and stuff like that, based upon England and like the whole knighthood and stuff like that. And like, doing it for the crown and we're like airing the throne and shit like that. And like the whole God save the Queen concept and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So like that's why Washington DC, the flag is like the three stars and the red and white stripes, and it's based off this coat of arms, but it's like a military practice. It's like a colonial practice and stuff like that. And just like taking over the star players, aka the Chiefs, and taking over the main niggas on those lands and stuff like that, and killing them in like cold blood and stuff like that, with like no like feeling emotion about it. You know what I'm saying? Being white face about it and stuff like that. So like just not even caring about the emotions and feelings and stuff like that, and completely about the thought and idea in the program and the how would you describe this shit? Like being in that colonial spirit of just taking over these lands. Like we don't even give a fuck about how they feel about it. So this is like the Sea of Columbia and stuff like that, right? And then we got George Washington, with him holding a sword and stuff like that. So like knight sword type shit, England man shit. And then also having the faces and it's an axe with rods, and the bow of rods contain a blade projecting out, and it's based upon like some like Roman concept, and it's like supposed to symbolize power over life and limb, and the six symbolize punishment by whipping, and the execution by beheading. So like guillotine type of tactics and stuff like that. And that facey shit, you see that symbolism all the way to this day, all the way in like they like you know what I'm saying, like the Washington DC like offices and stuff like that. It be on like hella flags. It's talking about fascism and stuff like that. It's talking about like one world government, like supreme power, and like we're exalting this idea of us like trying to have this, we're going to take over the whole world concept, even though you can't make everyone think the same way and stuff like that. But it's like some like it's like some fascist white supremacist type of thinking, and then even if you're not a white person, it's not based upon ethnicity. It's just that whole white supremacist like white mind concept and stuff like that. Like just thinking that way in general, it's like, oh yeah, you on board. It's the same way how when it comes to Jewish people, you can't find no ethnic trace based upon their ancestors and stuff like that. And anybody could be a Jew, and it don't matter the ethnicity. You just need to assimilate and initiate into the practice. If you even in this practice of you being whitewashed, then you on board. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like some like Masonic ass shit, if you want to call it like today's type of thing. And then on the right, you have the woman, and that's like that Lady Columbia symbolism and stuff like that. And there's another picture showing it, but like the thing she holding in her hand and shit like that, it's supposed to represent, like it's supposed to be justice written on like the white blanket piece of paper and shit like that, right? And then the American eagle right there, there go that whole overseeing, like, oh, we oversee everything, our providence, oh, we see everything, like we the great bald eagle, the great bird, the great eagle and stuff like that. We gonna see everything y'all doing. You can't get away with nothing and shit like that. It's like oh, we got these satellites, we got satellites, we got everything, we got all the security, we got everything that's floating in the air, floating in the sky. You can't do nothing. Can't do nothing. We gonna see everything. We got global ring cameras everywhere type shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, on the right side, it's just symbolizing like, oh, we moving to the right. We feel like this is just. We feel like this is the right thing to do. We feel like this is righteous, us coming over here and assimilating on this land and stuff like that. And then on the left side, it's all like we trying to not make that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if you on this side, you being too separate and stuff like that. You ain't thinking like us, and we feel like this is right to do. So if you on this side, aka with the Native American stuff like that, you on the left. So we gonna colonize all y'all who act too left field, who act out of our pocket of how we think and stuff like that, right? And then that Latin on the bottom says justice for all. So it's like yeah, it's like that. Oh yeah, we gonna be your God now. This is justice for all. We trying to, you know what I'm saying? We can do this shit better than y'all. Just let us work, even though we never gonna give y'all land back. And we gonna run everything. We gonna cosplay everything y'all already set up and things like that nature. Like yeah, like we gonna run this shit. I promise you gonna get your money's back. I promise you if you sign these treaties, we promise we gonna get y'all get back and shit like that. We gonna see y'all over there to the Indian territories and shit like that. Even though we gave it away later down the line anyway. We don't want y'all to come back for real, but you know. Yeah. Disagree with us. I'm telling you, bro. Just get civilized. Be a civilized tribe. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like, you know, we can make it this big world type of thing. We got some power that y'all don't got, and y'all got some power that we don't got. Get this down to third. Even though we took over everything, like at the end of the day, based upon like the British Empire manifesting destiny agenda, one world government type of thing, concept. But like, yeah. Look at this reef, nigga. Look at this Christmas reef. Yeah, but like earlier, I was talking about like the whole fasting shit, and then again, that's a United States seal. You see the symbolism on the bottom and shit like that, because it's based upon like that whole fascism concept, because that whole thing started like in Italy, and then like that fascine and fascio, it means like group or or like a bundle of sticks, like faggots and stuff like that. But like not like, you know what I'm saying, not in like like let them know like that's literally, I'm not even trying to be offensive to the alphabet community right now. I'm like, that's what the shit was called. Like that is what the shit is called, like a bundle of sticks, like a faggot. But in my mind, the way I be looking at it in my imagination, so I'm like, y'all niggas feel like faggots, like y'all niggas feel like a whole bunch of bundle of sticks and shit like that. Like y'all felt like it's like y'all all had baby dick problems, but they like, hey, if we can like assimilate together because we all got baby dick problems and shit like that, we can assimilate and do justice and liberty and take over other people's land because we got a problem inside. You know what I'm saying? Let me chill. But yeah, like a number of nationals facile later evolved into the 20th century facile movement, which became known as fascism, which is a political behavior marked by obsessive preoccupation with community decline, humiliation, or victimhood by like, you know, cults of unity and like white purity, ethnic cleansing and shit like that because they're the master race and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like how these niggas really felt in their mind and things of that nature, right? And like, oh, we the elite, oh, we gonna take over everything, oh, we the main authoritarian and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to be dictators. You need to assimilate into our military, aka global police, so we can control everything and be everybody's business and not mind our own business and have our own culture and have our own way of going about shit. No, nah. We don't like ourselves, so we going to take over other people's shit and just don't know how to mind our spiritual business. Like, dead ass, like, literally. Like, yeah, like, we going to make everybody be black and white, Masonic checkerboard concepts and stuff like that. We feel like this shit just, we want to do all this violence and war because we feel so righteous in this energy. It's really just niggas going to hell, even thinking like this in the first place. And then it evolved into like the whole Nazism shit and shit like that. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then goddamn Adolf Hitler, even though they was playing a psyop on him to make him feel like, oh, you gotta get rid of the Jews, even though the Jews cosplaying a whole bunch of stuff they learned from Native Americans and stuff like that. Whole different video. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So it's like them, like Jews feeling like they the master, the chosen people, the treasured people, cause this, then the third, right? From them, Christian C-word colonized concepts again and stuff like that. Like, man, like the shit get like really negative and like deep, like. But like, yeah. The Fasces was a grouping of all equipment needed to inflict corporal and capital punishment, so like death penalty and shit like that. And it was like based upon like the Romans, and they would carry that shit like it was powered by lictors, and it was basically like the chief priests, lawgivers, the judge, the judges, or aka sole commanders and stuff like that, which led into the like 19th and 20th century where it started turning to like this weird fascism type of thing based upon like the Romans and stuff like that, based upon imperialism and like military power, and feeling like, oh, since we take everything over in the physical, that don't even make you like powerful or nothing like that. The fact you have to overcompensate and overprove something physically, when it's just like, if you naturally have that ability, you can just go do it, and then you won't even feel the need to constantly boast about it. And if you was, it would just be on like some competition shit, not like super negative, like, oh, we gotta eradicate everybody in the world to make them feel how we feel on the inside and shit like that. This like organ implosion shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the shit insane, but yeah.